Hey everyone, it's Thyworm with a roundup. So, what's going on in the gaming world? Wolcen released a content update for their first Chronicle Blood Trail called Bloodstorm. And I thought, cool, let's see if they fixed Oshara, the boss fight that was bugged for me all the time, and what is new. So I boot up the game, I loaded my character, do the Oshara final mission once more, put some points in my turret, which was reset apparently, and yep, screw this game. The Bloodstorm update brings 4 new environments for the expeditions, 30 new environment variants, 30 new expedition difficulty levels, increasing the limit to 217, a new armor unlockable in the city builder part, and pets that loot gold automatically for you. There's an improvement to dodging, which automatically passes through enemies now. There's an update to damage type modifiers as well, quite an interesting one. You can now just select a damage type modifier without any cost, making all skills do cold damage or fire or whatever. That should make building a character a lot easier and results in more powerful builds, because the 3 skill points originally required for speccing into certain damage types can now be used on other things. I can't for the life of me figure out why this patch required a name, Bloodstorm. Why? There's no actual new content. There's nothing mentioned in the patch notes either. It's just a random name seemingly, or is Wolcen now going to name all their minor updates similarly to the Chronicle? If so, that's going to get confusing real fast. It's Wolcen Marketing 101 though, when they try to do what makes the least sense under any circumstance. I thought Torchlight 3 would be done by now, but to their credit, they keep going. This time, they bring a new character, an undead pirate with ghostly summons, which will be released in the next big free content update in about 40 days. If this was posted on April 1st, I'd say April Fools, but this was posted the 2nd. The new class, the Cursed Captain, is basically a summoner, but holds his own as well with explosives and cannons, if you want to go that route. Next to the new class, we get 4 new pet classes, a bunch of buildings for your fort, an instant reset feature, and even an entire reset account feature, so you can start over with the single player campaign. Not sure why you would want to do that, but now you can. CYBERPUNK 2077 released patch 1.2. It makes you realize a few things actually. First, this game was completely broken. This list is pretty much endless. There are 484 fixes and 99% here are bug fixes, and surprisingly a lot of those are game-breaking bugs, halting progression and whatnot. Second, a lot gets fixed. This is a massive patch. The game should be significantly less buggy and much more in a state it should have been in at launch. A game this size always has bugs, but after this patch everything should be a lot smoother. Third, the patch barely brings any new features, apart from responsive steering for vehicles and a much more forgiving and realistic police AI. You could argue even that those are fixes as well. I will highlight a few notable changes, things I found at least somewhat interesting in this wall of text. The skill reset item, the Tabula Rasa, is cheaper. Good change, because it was 100k I think, which was quite hard to get, especially if you want to buy some cars as well. Crafting iconic items requires less materials, making crafting more viable. AMD users get ray tracing as well, and more keys are now rebindable, meaning you need less mods for the game. And then the patch ends with "and many more." Really? Many more? In other CYBERPUNK 2077 news, it seems the studio is reconsidering its multiplayer strategy for CYBERPUNK, and for all their games for that matter. Why and how the CYBERPUNK multiplayer would take shape was never revealed to the public, but it's not a stretch to imagine something like GTA Online, but then in Night City. That could be really cool actually. Seems it's not happening anytime soon, however. More details about the multiplayer plans will follow at a later stage. I'll keep you posted. Iceberg Interactive, a publisher focused on smaller studios, have announced a new Circle Empires game, Circle Empires Tactics. There's a decent chance you've never even heard about Circle Empires, which is a very cute real-time strategy game where the map consists of circles. Each circle is its own empire and you can conquer several circles, build bases, create units, you know, do the RTS thing. Circle Empires has been a moderate success with expansions and quite a few people enjoying it, myself included. And now there's a new game on the horizon, which isn't real-time but turn-based and therefore more tactical. There's almost no info on this, but the game is set in the Circle Empire universe. You have several units you can control and and you need to plan your troops and their attacks, and then the turn just ends and things happen, I guess. Release date is set in 2022, so this is a very early announcement. Some small Terraria news. The modding community was already going pretty ham on Terraria, but now there is a Steam Workshop integration, which makes installing mods so much easier, especially if you don't have much experience with mods. Just a single click and the whole game looks completely different. And talking about modding, leave it up to them to make an already realistic game even a little bit more realistic. I saw this and wanted to show you because this is just amazing. NARITA released their last update, the Epilogue update. What started out as a tech demo for a physics engine turned into a small game about a flying wizard which garnered the attention of indie gamers and modders alike. The cuteness of this game cannot be overstated, nor can the difficulty. I have around 20 hours in NARITA and still haven't beat it. Holy moly, this game is tough, but a lot of fun. The last update brings tons of features, but mainly I wanted to do one last shout out to this game, which is a true gem with endless replay and a thriving modding community. Then, time to look at some recent releases. Outriders released, and release day was, as expected, pretty much a mess. And it still is pretty much a mess 3 days later as I'm recording this. Remember these people in the comments when I predicted this would be a mess based on how buggy the demo was? Well, it seems the same issues persist at launch. What a surprise. Disconnects, lost sessions, lost progress, micro stutters, messed up DirectX 12 and 11, and of course the entire server data center somehow was not skilled to cope with the influx of players despite millions playing the demo. It's a damn shame because I enjoyed the game itself mostly. And you can't even play solo either because this game requires you to be online at all times despite not being a live service game. And this is a really dumb decision because now no one can play, not even single player. Reviews on Steam are at 56%, a ton of sponsored streams were looking at disconnect screens. It's pretty bad. I feel sorry for the devs who likely didn't have much to say about at least the connectivity part. In a couple of days the game hopefully runs and people can actually play for a few hours in a row, or god forbid, with one of their friends. Legend of ELLARIA, a mix between sandbox ARPG and RTS base builders, has been in early access since July 2017, and now after almost 4 years it finally releases. Last April 1st the game went live with its 1.0 version. The mix of genres could be problematic as there are so many things going on here it seems. I've been following this game for a while though, but never pulled the trigger of actually playing it. But now that it's out, I might. The Steam user score sits at a respectable 70%. If I have some time, I'll play it and let you guys know my thoughts. Right now though, I've been busy with some other games. One of them being NARITA Boy, which released too. I played it for a few hours. It's an amazing game, honestly. The nerdiness, 80s references, the absolutely stellar soundtrack and the style of this game make it truly unique. It's got a bit too much puzzle stuff for my taste, honestly. I know that's part of platformers. It's not criticism, I just don't really enjoy that, but otherwise I've had a blast. It's a good game. It's also 25 euros, however. I think that's a bit on the pricey side if you ask me. Then, upcoming releases. The Slormancer is coming up, releases April 6th. A viewer notified me of this in the comment section of the last roundup, and 2 days later or so I got a review key and I'm playing it as we speak. I'm under NDA, I can't say anything about it, but you should definitely check out the trailer and see if this is something for you. And check out this channel, maybe even subscribe if you want to hear my thoughts when the NDA lifts, which is around release date. Similarly, Trials of Fire releases April 9th and I'm working on a video for that one as well. It's a very interesting combination of deck building, CRPG, turn-based combat and a few more genres even. Still on the NDA for me as well, but stay tuned to see how that goes. Viking Vengeance announced their release April 8th. This is an indie roguelite dungeon crawler about Vikings seeking revenge, I guess. I don't know. I don't think the story is the main selling point here, nor is the voice acting, which is really bad. I mean, just look at this trailer.
It's Thursday. My hammer is ready. They will kneel before Loki. I've got your back.
The combat seems okay, but I'm doubtful if there is enough polish to actually properly enjoy this game. I do really like the way this looks, however. The semi-shell shaded art style, the animations, this seems somewhat promising, but the trailer as a whole didn't really speak to me. The game features 2 playable classes, you can execute enemies to regain health, you gain various skills by leveling up, the game features environmental damage and physics and several challenges for you to complete. Colony ship enters early access on April 6th. This is one of them turn-based squad isometric RPGs inspired apparently by Heinlein's Orphans of the Sky, a book unknown to me. Turns out this is a 1963 sci-fi book about a giant spaceship on course towards Far Centaurus. There's a mutiny going on the ship, officers are killed and the remaining people and descendants of those people slowly start to forget the purpose of their mission, until they forget they're on a mission entirely. They devolve, as it were. The result is this primal society on board of a spaceship. They start to believe the ship is everything that exists in the universe, and I guess if this thing doesn't have windows, this might make sense. I think this is a super interesting platonic premise, to put a primitive civilization aboard a cruising spaceship and then take it from there. Good setup for a game as well. Oddworld Soulstorm, what a nice surprise. This cute fella Abe is part of my childhood. I played Abe's Odyssey when I was small, which was a brutally difficult game by the way for kids, and while I know some more Oddworld games have been released in the past, this one in particular seems like a homage to the original games. This just looks amazing. These guys nailed it with this visually stunning platformer. It's available on Epic Game Store April 6th. And that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all soon. Love you all. Bye bye.